I manage people. That's my job. I'm not CEO or vice president of anything. As other thousands of working people, at some point I became a lead of a small team, and it started my leadership journey. If you ask me what my job actually means, I will tell you. For me, being a leader means to help my team show their best work while making them feel safe. Oh, and I'm an introvert, although no one from my team would ever tell you that I'm an introvert. I am energetic, very positive, very loud sometimes. I have genuine interest in people and I care if they feel happy and included. But being introvert is not about these things. Neither it is about being shy or quiet or socially awkward.
An introvert loses energy from social interaction. An extrovert gains energy from social interaction. So an introvert wakes up in the morning with 5 coins. Every social interaction they spend a coin, at the end they are depleted. An extrovert wakes up with no coins. Every social interaction they get a coin, and by the end they feel rich.
Introversion can be manifested in different ways. Some people are quiet and taciturn, some avoid specific social situations, and some just prefer working independently. And the magnitude of introversion can be different too. There are people who are less or way more introverted than I am. In my case, I thrive in one-to-one connections and often feel lost in big groups. If I work with the complex concepts, I need an alone time to think about things. And finally, if social interactions drain me, open conflicts squeeze me dry. In addition to that, and it is less connected to introversion, but as many girls worldwide, I grew up with the notion that if anything around me doesn't work properly, it's me not being smart enough. There is a common misconception that great and successful leaders should be extroverted. Most of the popular CEOs appear very confident in public, so we perceive them as extroverted even if they are not. But in reality, my introverted qualities are actually making me a better leader. Here's why. Number 1, I create meaningful connections. Because I feel more comfortable in one-to-one interactions, throughout my working years, I trained my emotional intelligence and empathy. And I learned to carefully listen to others. It doesn't mean that I agree with everything people say, but I can actually hear the needs and struggles of others without judging it. And if you just imagine a woman calmly sitting in a chair in a pastel cardigan and nodding with a compassionate face, just erase that. I have a relatively big personality, I'm definitely not calm, and I have an allergy on pastel outwear. What I'm trying to say is being an empathetic leader does not conflict with you being yourself. I know that many people have a certain image of this calm and compassionate woman, and actually it's better if she's in HR and not your manager. And this cannot be further from the truth. Also, listening to your team and creating these connections is not a weakness, how sometimes some people claim. In fact, it's a huge strength. And if you think that you're an introvert, maybe you can leverage this side of yours too. By the way, if someone is not delivering, we don't say, "You're a failure." We ask if everything is all right and if people need help. Through these practices, we build trust. This is how with my team, I have their backs and they have mine. Second way of how being introverted contributes to my leadership qualities is inclusion. This is quite simple. If you have ever experienced being excluded from something that was important to you, there is a higher chance that you will notice someone that is going through the same thing. If in a meeting, because you're naturally reserved and quiet, people are always interrupting you, you will easier detect if in this room there is someone who experiences the same thing. Although it's not always like that. I know people who learned to speak up and push their way, but counterintuitively, they feel less compassionate to the ones that are going through the same. They say, "I've learned this, then you can do it too. So don't expect me to give you a chance to speak. I earned it with my hard work, so why I should make it easier for you?" And although I understand some bits of logic here, I deeply disagree. Textbook example. Rich people are telling poor people that they should just work harder, and with that they neglect unfair advantages, mindset difference, and also all the structural and systematic barriers. But there are poor who became wealthy, and because they achieved everything themselves, they sometimes blame poor people for not doing the same. Well, there are 3 things that are wrong with that. Mistake number 1, they attribute their success only to their hard work and downplay the importance of external factors. In our case, it would be something like that. I used to be shy and I became confident. I'm convinced that this is my only achievement and I neglect all the support that I received from others along the way. Mistake number 2, they believe that this world is essentially fair and people get what they deserve. So if you're poor, it means that you somehow deserve it. In our case, it would be I became confident and by default it means that it's fair. And if people cannot fight for them being included, maybe they actually don't deserve it. And mistake number 3. If someone who used to be introverted learned to be more vocal, sometimes they want to distance themselves from these introverts, because somewhere it still has a negative connotation. What I'm trying to say is this: if you had an experience of being excluded and found the power to move on, use it to help others, especially people who work for you. Finally, because I often need time to deeply think about things, I rarely make impulsive decisions. Actually, for the longest time, I was convinced that this is my weakness. I observed very cool managers, directors who are very fast in thinking, very quick to make decisions and adapt to change. And yes, I know about myself that I need more time for things like that. But with years, I learned to accept this in me. You know, at some point you get tired of people constantly telling you that you should work on this or improve this to finally become a good manager or anything or anyone you want to be. We cannot be good at everything and we should not doubt our abilities because someone else is more advanced in that. Sometimes we just need to be a little bit more brave to go for it. Yes, I need more time to think. My mind operates like that and I have no intention to fix it. I will use it to my advantage of my team and the company I work for. Because I take time to think, I generate a better quality decisions and I don't miss out important details. And for my work, this is important. As simple as that. Finally, with years of working, my natural conflict avoidance transformed into priceless skills of facilitation and stakeholder management. I mean, even now I sometimes notice about myself that, yeah, I would rather avoid an open confrontation, but this is fine because I learned how to take best from this my quality and I learned how to mitigate the downsides of it. As you can see, it's all about how you use what you've got. And if you think about yourself as an introvert, I encourage you to think in the same way, how to leverage what you're naturally good at. And I'm telling you, this can be priceless if you decide to pursue a managerial career. Best of luck! I root for you!